As we finish up looking at solids, I want to tie this back into something that we did November-ish. And we talked about the spheres, the biosphere, the geosphere, and we talked about a sphere that had to do with water. You should be able to look back in your science folder to fill this out. Each blank here is the name of that sphere that had to do with water. I also will want your name on the piece of paper. And then there's a graph here. And this has you thinking about where water exists on Earth. So this top circle is saying all the water on Earth, oceans and freshwater. Then the next part takes the freshwater, so that would be the opposite of salt water, right? And it looks at, okay, what about if I take all of salt water or all of fresh water and look at where that is on Earth? Now, the questions that you have to answer refer up to that graph. So, given what we see on the graph, the fact that we begin by focusing on where all water on Earth is, and then we focus on where just fresh water on Earth is, that should give you a good idea of what you would want to name this infographic. Info, you know, just means information, facts. Graphic means the information, the facts are being shown in more of a picture form. It's not just text. How should you start this answer? A good title to capture the main idea of this infographic is, and then you put your title at the end. 2 and 3 and 4 simply ask you to read what is up here in the infographic. You'll notice these are short blanks, so you don't have to get particularly long answers. What percent of all water on Earth is not salt water? This is not exactly what the graph calls it, but you should be able to figure that out. Of the fresh water, so when you focus on just fresh water, how much of that is in solid form? Again, nowhere up here on this graph does it say this is water in solid form. But from our study of solids, you should know. If the water is in the ground, is that what is solid? If the water is ice and a glacier, is that what is solid? If you need to look up what glaciers are, that would be a bit of extra digging that you need to do if you don't know what glaciers are. Number 5 then asks you to think a little bit further with this information. So solid water is less dense than liquid water. Solid water will float on top of liquid water. So the first sentence explains why the second sentence is true. The next question is, why would that be an important fact given the creatures that live in liquid water? So this gives you a lot to think about, but I've given you a pretty good hint of a direction to go when I'm saying, okay, you know there are creatures that live in liquid water. Why is it important that solid water floats on top of liquid water? When you have that filled in, make sure your name is on it. Send me a photograph of your completed assignment. That's science for today. Thank you.